host, Sean Myrie. This episode is about content these days, talking about content, how people use content, view content, post content, all that good stuff, right? Make content, create content, right? So, what is content nowadays? It is, could be different definitions of content, meaning that people are, I call it cut and paste. That's what's very popular. Everybody does it, but some people do it more often, more than usual. And people, please subscribe, like all that good stuff, right? So, cut and paste content is when you take other people's content or material, right, offline, and you use it for yourself, be it a reel or a short. Some people, a big majority of their content are other people's content. So I call that like what? Content reporting. Is that making content, or are you just reporting the content? Making content to me is like what I'm doing right now. I'm not using anybody's content but myself, right? Um, so it's not cut and paste. Everybody's guilty of doing that, but this is my content, our content, down to earth content. I'm not using anybody's videos, right? I know there's commentary, but that's like content reporting. It's not fully your content. To me, that's kind of lazy. That's a lazy way of doing it. I don't know. Everybody has their styles of doing it, right? This is my style. I have different styles of doing my content, our content, me and my brother, down to earth. We have some content on Spotify. We have some content on YouTube, some on Instagram, some on Reddit, some on. I keep going. We're a real podcast on all podcast platforms you could think of: Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Um, it keeps going, but some people, they limit themselves to one platform, thinking that's the main thing to do, right? So some people, when they're doing content, they might be lucky to get a lot of views because of the news or the content they're putting out that's popular, such as reporting on popular subjects, right? So some people, they get big off of other people's content, but I'm using my content right now. So, for example, now, if you have a lot of subscribers, just say you got 100 subscribers, you go on YouTube, you're watching 100 subscribers on this guy's platform, and you're only seeing, you're only seeing like 1,000 views. You're seeing only 1,000 views, and they have like 100,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I said 100. They only have like 1,000 views, and they have like 100,000 subscribers. You guys got to tell me what that means. If that is the average, what you're getting, 1,000, 2,000, and you got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, something doesn't add up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Something's not adding up, right? I know people buy views, people buy subscribers and all that shit, but something's not adding up, right? Same thing with the gram. I will see people with, for example, now they will have 20,000 followers, right? Just say they're a platform like a podcast, 20,000 followers. But when you go on to their YouTube, they're not getting that traffic. They might be getting 7,000 views on the reel on Instagram, and then you don't see that translate to their YouTube, right? Just now, I was live. Soon as I came on live, 35 views, went to 14. Now it's 5 of you. So people will watch you a lot of the times, but they won't comment, like, and all that good stuff. Some people are just spying. Some people are just, they might take in the content, but a lot of the times they're just watching you and they ain't going to be commenting. They're just viewing what you're saying, right? So, it's an illusion out there, right? It's almost like Hollywood. Some people are buying their views, they're buying subscribers, they're buying a lot of things. See how it just went down right now? When it first started, 35, 14, 5 to 2. And then after when I come off, it will go up, right? But that's organic. But there's people out there who have thousands, thousands, thousands of subs. Does that mean anything really? Because I've seen people with like 2,000 subscribers, right? And get more views than somebody with 50,000 subscribers. Bless up to all 35 of you right now, tuned right back in, right? Don't be shy. You could comment, even if it's, I take criticism. Bless up, UK Breakfast Show 24. See, it goes up and down the algorithm because YouTube does filter out certain things. Certain subjects will not get the views. Some subjects will get the views. Some people think it's just the computer doing everything. No, there's real people behind these platforms. Trust me, there's real people behind these platforms. The science of getting the views, especially on live, this is how it works if you don't know. This is how it works. The longer you stay on, which I cannot do that, for like 3 hours, right? And you keep watching, that brings the views, right? Much respect. But yeah, that's how it gets the views. The longer you're on, right? If your true supporters are on and they stay watching, you will get the views. But like for example, that's why a lot of people like TikTok because it's more fast. It's like the fast food of social media. TikTok, you, you could get hot today. You could be a new TikTok person and you could just blow up, right? But there's been politics behind that. People saying that TikTok they've been making people big. It's not real, right? I was just on for like 7 minutes. That's how I'm going, 7 minutes. See, the science of it is the longer you're on and people are on watching, the views go up, right? So, for example, now it went up from 35 to 14, and now it's 2. That's how it goes. So that's how some people get their views, right? My favorite color is black. If you want to know, my favorite color is black, but that's how people get the views. They stay on for hours, especially streaming. I'm talking about streaming on YouTube. You got to stay on for at least an hour, right? So just say I got 35 people watching, even 10, and it's going on for like 2 hours, 35, 10 going in and out. By the time the end of the stream, it might be 300 views, maybe 200 views. That's how it goes. But what type of content is gonna get the people watching? A lot of the times it has to be um, people like controversy. People want to watch controversial content. That's what gets the views. Informational content, some people will watch it, but it's not really going to get the views compared to celebrity news. People want to hear about famous people, right? They want to hear about famous people. That's what gets the views. Celebrity news. I don't know what you're saying. Come with something, a good question, and then I'll read it off. Come with a good question, right? I don't just say anything. But that's realistic. If I'm talking about someone who has beef, that's going to be big. If I'm talking about Drake, who has a big algorithm, that's going to get some attention. If I'm talking about like something what was in the news, that's going to be big, right? Yeah, I have some animals. I got 3 dogs, right? So, yeah, the longer you're on and you have something that it can possibly go viral, like talking about a story that's in the media, you will get the attention. And it depends the time you come on this platform, right? Man, I don't have no time for that. I'll do that on another episode, talking about the animals. I'm talking about content. If you came here to listen to what I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about content these days. Content these days is controversial topics, celebrity topics, goofy shit, basically act a fool types of stuff, people's dirt, right? The downfall of people. People like to talk about, watch that. That's what they like to watch and listen to. And sometimes it doesn't matter the quality. You could buy all the best cameras in the world and you're still not going to get the views. I seen people with just simply they're on live and they're getting more and they don't have a big platform as big, not a lot of subscribers, and I see them getting way more views than somebody who has tons of subscribers. So sometimes it does not mean nothing. All of this cameras and all of that, that don't mean anything sometimes, right? Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing. Maybe to the individual, but it doesn't mean anything to other people. Uh, For example, people have a small attention span. They will watch maybe 5 to 10, maybe 10 minutes of your platform. You talking for 3 hours is not going to get everybody unless you are somebody who people want to really take in and listen to and have a real good story, right? So if you're a person who has like 60,000 subscribers and you're only getting like 100 people, for example, on a live like this, damn, what are you doing? We have an excuse. We only have like 2,000 subscribers. And I know if I really want to do my diligence, I could get 100 viewers watching straight, if not more. Just had 35 go in and out. Like I said, YouTube filters out this system. They filter out the system. People will tap in, tap out, tap in, and tap out. That's how it works. So the longer I'm on this live, the more views I get. So it depends the content you're talking about that will get the people, the thumbnail, right? The description in your video. That's what's going to get the people. It's not going to be just your video because anytime they can hear, you could go make a video. It's 2025. Anybody could just get a phone, get a camera, a little software, and there you go. It's not that hard, right? The worst quality videos sometimes get the most views. So it's not that. So the content people want to hear nowadays is celebrity news. They want to hear controversy. Some people want education, but mostly controversy. That's how it works, right? Our platform is to educate as much as we can and give out that information out to the universe. We never created our platform for views and clout. Let me say it again. We never created our platform for views and clout. There's a point in my life I was never even on the net. I didn't give a shit about the internet, right? Only if it benefited us in some way financially, right? So content these days is a lot of shit. And I rather stand for something than nothing, right? So, like I said, when I first came on, 35. I don't know what people are looking for. And then it went down, up and down. So, this is how it works. When you do a thumbnail, especially the thumbnail, it's like a movie poster. Depends on that and the description. That's when you're going to see people come on. Don't know who you're talking about. Don't know who you're talking about. But bless up, see? It jumps up and down this platform. Bless up to all 16. You could put your opinions out there. What do you guys watch as content? What's the best type of content you watch on the internet or YouTube? What really gets you watching? I want to know because I'm from Toronto, the six, where Drake is from, right? Got to put it out there because most people know Toronto through Drake. What platform from the city you guys know of? If you can comment, what do you know of? What do you watch? What do you know Toronto for? Right? See, people will watch you, right, and they won't comment. That's how it is. There's maybe some people from Toronto watching right now. They won't say anything. They'll watch you because there is a lot of haters in the city, right? See, it goes up and down. This is how it works. Like I'm saying, if I'm on here for like, just say an hour, 2 hours, some streamers do 3 hours. I don't know how they do it. They do 3 hours. Everybody who comes up here on here, if it's four, if it's 16, if it's 35, if it's 200 people, it's going to add up. But it depends what you're talking about, right? That's why a lot of people like to use other people's content because they're not really that entertaining. They're not really that interesting. That's why people use on YouTube other people's content a lot, right? They will do a lot of commentary around it because it gives them time to think about what they want to talk about. Because a lot of times, probably they're boring. They know they're boring, so they use other people's content. I don't really like to use that. I call that cut and paste content. And that's reality. That's why most YouTubers you watch right now on YouTube, right? The popularity is using other people's content. It's not themselves, right? Bless up, Mad Russian. That's what it is. I seen it. It's kind of attractive because you want to tell the story. There's ways how to do it though. I've seen some people do it good, right? Kind of pre-organize it. But the reason people use other people's content is because they're not entertaining. We've been doing streaming for a couple of years now. I could say this from Toronto. We were the first ones using the StreamYard. 2 years before anybody was using it, people copied us. They followed us. We were using that shit. I put that out there. No other podcast platform was doing any streaming from Toronto until they saw us doing it. We got the videos. We were doing it a good time, right? So, a lot of people, they need to use other people's content. They need to talk about famous people to be relevant. They can't do like what I'm doing right now, talk for themselves. You could talk about things, but they need to show you the visual to get that attraction. But most of those people who do that, right? The successful ones, they're getting like 500,000 views. They're getting 60,000 views. If you're getting a couple hundred views, man, that's ridiculous. Because right now, as I tell you, bless up Mad Russian. I seen it go up to 8, 16 to like 35, if I stay on here for at least an hour, maybe 2 hours, just say 3 hours, I'm relaxing, a little drink, a little spliff, it's going to go up the views, right? That's annoying to me. Yeah. Shit, tell your own story. Yeah, your own shit, tell your own story. I've tried it. Believe me, I've tried doing that. I do have a couple what's called episodes, but I don't really even post those. It was more like of a test. I tried doing that, but I don't like that shit. Right? First of all, you gotta worry about the copyright stuff. First of all, you got to worry about clearing your channel, because believe it, laws change constantly. They do. You no. Mad Russian, bless up, man, bless up, EQTV. I think I could invite people if I wanted to, but I don't know how that works. But yeah, that's how it go. Some people just are lazy. I call that lazy content making. Very lazy content making. That's what I call it, right? Some people might say something else, but I call it lazy content making. But yeah, I'm live. Like, what is content today? I know Rastafari Samurai is out here. What is content today? It's controversial. Controversy. That's what sells. That's what sells. Like I'm saying, if you put up a certain type of thumbnail, you will get the views. Guarantee. I could do a test right now. I could talk about something very controversial later, and you'll see like maybe even a good amount of people come on. Trust me. I'm on vacay, but regardless, it's a good topic. You're on vacation, yeah, man. But that's facts, though. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because they're hurt their feelings. Try not using anybody's content, right? Nobody's content, and just use yourself, right? Yourself. Nobody's content. No script, and let's see how much views you get. The content we talk about is controversial. Some of the stuff, I'm surprised we didn't get whatever flag. We talk about stuff which is not popular. So it's not going to be getting thousands or hundreds of views sometimes, because the stuff what we're talking about is for real controversial. We didn't come on here cookie cutter. We never came on here like that. We came on here interviewing people, artists, because we like music, but when we get down to earth, it's very controversial, which people are trying to emulate now, what we do, right? People used to criticize us, if not, they still do, excuse me, about the stuff, what we put out, but now they're trying to do that. And you never done that before. People are doing pre-recording content before. They weren't doing no live streams. We started that shit. We were a live show from the beginning, from Instagram, right, to YouTube. We were doing live. We were a live show all the time. Hardly do any pre-recording. But all these other podcasts were all doing pre-recording. They weren't doing no live stream. The only live stream content I seen was in America. Americans doing that shit. That's where we get our influence from. We'll be straight up. We ain't getting no influence from no Toronto platform. None. Hell no. And I don't want to. So we were live from the beginning. A live platform from the beginning. Using the StreamYard from before anybody even knew about that shit going on in Toronto. Just saying. And that's facts. But yeah, this is how the algorithm works. Sometimes when you put tags in your videos, you get more views. Um, Thumbnails, if it's controversial with the title, you'll get more views. That's how it works. It's like the news. The news ain't gonna get any good ratings if it doesn't have bad news on it. If the news doesn't have bad news, you ain't gonna no one's gonna watch it. Even the older folks, they're not gonna they might say, oh, they want to see some better news. No, politics, bad news, local news, bad news, and that's what's getting the ratings. No one wants to watch a good news. Same thing with positivity in content. No one wants to listen or watch about good things. We either want controversial stuff or stuff what's going to scare you. Murder mystery, or you want to hear about beefs, or you want to hear about some celebrity downfall. That's what you want. You don't want anybody talking about any positive stuff. No, no one wants that. No one wants that at all. People watch a documentary on Netflix, that's it. But on these platforms for content, it's negativity what sells. It's negativity what's going to get the views, right? If if I talk about some negative shit right now, right? It will go up the views. People don't want to hear about nothing positive. Hell no. They don't want to hear about that stuff. Like what's going on in Canada right now, people don't want to hear about, well, they might want to hear about that actually when you're talking about the immigrants. Yo, that's going viral, right? People complaining. That is viral. People fighting online, talking about people's personal business. That people want to hear and talk. They want to see that. If I had a guest, for example, talking about the dirt right now, it will go up in views. Trust me, it would. That's how it works. So, right, like I'm saying, it's really hell on earth. It is really hell on earth. People worship negativity more than positivity. No one wants to watch anything what's talking about good stuff, right? I've been on here about almost a half an hour talking about content these days. And most content these days, if it's not controversial, it has to be some clown shit. You better make yourself look like a damn fool. TikTok is the perfect platform for that. Dancing up and down. Instagram too, right? So that's what people want, and that's what some people give them. But us, we ain't giving you that shit. We're gonna give you that knowledge, right? So bless up to everybody that tune in to D2E. This is Sean Myrie. I'm out.